on Facebook, YouTube, X. I'm Power 5 meteorologist Katie McGraw, and we are live on all of these platforms here. So we can track some severe weather that's moving through Northeast Ohio. Truth be told, storms have been on the strong to severe side, stronger than they were expected to get. This happens sometimes. You have just enough of that fuel to work with. And at this moment, so we're sitting at 7:42, and I'm a meteorologist in Northeast Ohio at News 5 Cleveland. And we're going to stick with it because we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings. There was one tornado warning that was issued about 40 minutes ago. It was right around 7 o'clock during our 7 o'clock news. And while we don't have any tornado warnings issued at this time, we do have two severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got one for all of Stark County because of this line of storms. So it's lining up now. You're getting a nice little line, nice little squall line, trying to bow out. You're getting a tiny little bow echo right there. Strong winds of 60 miles per hour possible. Also, there are multiple threats of these storms. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, and then you also have the continuation of that severe thunderstorm warning farther down to the south and east into Carroll County. That's until 8:45. So another hour of the severe weather moving through Northeast Ohio, and then we'll be able to kick it on out of here. So at this moment, I'm going to ask anyone who's watching from Northeast Ohio, I'm going to go ahead and share this on my Facebook page. So my name's Katie McGraw, if you haven't seen me before. And we have just a way to get people who maybe don't follow News 5 or don't follow me. We're going to do these Facebook Lives and YouTube Lives, X Lives, as needed throughout storm season, throughout the rest of summer, to make sure that even when it's not a tornado warning, that we're there for you no matter where you live. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. It only takes a second to share too. I'm going to find News 5 Cleveland. We're live right now, and share to my personal Facebook page. We've got a couple of comments here. Let me get the comments up. How's Cleveland looking? So Ben, I know Carly Massetti told me that I'm getting ahead of myself, that the Guardians were delayed on purpose because of the storms, and it was supposed to be a first pitch about an hour ago. Thankfully, the severe threat is nothing for Cleveland. Points to the east, not looking too bad either. Menor, Chardon, Gates Mills, this is all more uniform rain. There is certainly some pockets of some moderate rainfall here around Gates Mills, Chardon, but in comparison to some of the rainfall we've gotten, this is a nice amount of rain that we're getting up from Cleveland to the north and east. I'll put on the lightning, because there's certainly a couple of lightning strikes. So we've got about 13 lightning strikes total here. When thunder roar is getting north, that's going to be the biggest issue, is that if they can still hear the thunder or lightning in downtown Cleveland for the Guardians game, they will keep that delay going. Plus, there is still some rain. If I put it into motion here, last 30 minutes, you've got the heaviest rain still out down to the south and east away from Cleveland, but there is still some rain across the lake that's going to kind of move towards Cleveland. So there might still be a few more showers for probably another hour for all of us. Where we have the severe storms, though, farther down to the south. Hold on one second. I apologize. I'm going to get a sip of water. I ate a cashew stupidly just a few minutes ago. And kind of stuck in my throat. Perfect timing to be choking. So we have a ton of lightning farther down to the south. Look at the difference there of the lightning strikes. I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually mute myself for just a second. Okay, I got a good cough out. I don't know if it actually muted it. Hopefully it did. All right, so we have right now down to the south 500 lightning strikes. So compare that to what we're seeing in Cleveland. Points to the east where there were 13 lightning strikes. And the reason that we have the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued is because of the straight line winds that we're getting. Thank you so much. So we have all of this lightning, but the heavy rain too. So we're going to turn off the lightning because we know it's there, even when we turn it off. And we're going to check out these wind speeds here and why we have these severe thunderstorms. So Carroll County, you're not even seeing much action yet. But they, at the National Weather Service, clearly believe that these storms are going to hold together to bring the potential for damage to your neck of the woods. And these storms have had not just the gusty winds, but there's also been frequent lightning and that heavy rain as well. So what we're watching for are these areas where you get these spikes of red, spikes of green, where there's enough wind energy to then produce damaging storms. We even had, as I mentioned, we had roughly about 45 minutes ago, one tornado warning issued, and we can take a look at that for folks that maybe you heard sirens, maybe you got the alert on your phone. So I'm taking it back here. Let's actually go back an hour and zoom right on in the area that got that rotation. It was around Hermanville. Look how fast it spiked together. So the rotation was not overly impressive, around 650 or so. I always worry about pronouncing this word, so I always avoid it. If anyone's in the area knows how to say it, is it Canaan? Canaan? I always go back and forth and I just avoid saying it. So maybe Facebook or YouTube can help there. But we then, right here, so right before 7 p.m., this is why the tornado warning was issued. The briefest of time that it had that spike, 1 or 2 scans, and then down, and it was diffused pretty fast. So the warning was actually able to be expired early, but we still have tons of flood advisories. We still have tons of severe thunderstorm warnings that are issued right now. So the strongest storms down into our most southern communities in Stark County and also into Carroll County. I have the app and received no notice of the tornado warning in Wayne County. This is quite disturbing. Oh, when you say, Joyce, when you say that you have the app, do you mean News 5's app, or which app are you referring to? Because I do know that there was a push alert that my station did. I got it myself. So I'm not sure if it was my station that you're referring to or a different one. Yeah. It was definitely pushed. I have the notification here, and we just got a notification. My digital producer here, Drew, for pushing this live that we're doing right now. My dog is scared. Jeffrey, I understand. When will the storms pass? So these are going to be, we're almost to sunset time. We're at 7:49. We've got about an hour until sunset. Once the storms, sorry, my mouse is acting up. Once we get past sunset, the storms are going to start to fade. Let me get our future cast up. So it's lining up pretty well. Here we are, 9, 10 o'clock, and they're pushing down to the south and east. I would say by 9, the worst of these storms are out of here. So it's truthfully about an hour that we're going to be dealing with the potential for these strong and severe storms. And look at what it looks like by midnight. It's a big nothing burger at that point. Anything else coming through Lorain County? Jessica, no. I think that anything would just be some plain old rain. And majority of that, I think, has even passed. Yeah. You've got a couple of showers up here that could clip, I would say more so northeastern Lorain County. There's certainly pockets of some heavier rain. But your atmosphere's already been worked over a lot. In areas that have already seen heavy rain, some strong storms, severe storms, your atmosphere is going to have a really hard time to get unstable. So that's where you're not going to have, you might get some more rain, but in terms of anything severe, I think you're good. A power outage in Barberton from lightning strikes back to back. Okay, Dominic, thank you. I actually could check all of the power outages here in just a minute, because there have been already issues. Nadine Abisada, one of our reporters today, talking about the power outages that have been a huge issue in Cuyahoga County over in Lakewood. And so now when you add in the severe storms, that doesn't help anything at all. Oh no, Ben said the audio is terrible. We'll work on that. We were having a little bit of some issue before, but I hope everyone else, if you guys can let me know if the audio is still okay for you. The Blossom concert, Kesha. Kesha's in town. Is she in town tonight, Vic? And tornado warnings, RJ, no tornado warnings. We only have right now severe thunderstorm warnings. So we have one for Stark County in effect until 8:15. So we still have about 25 minutes of that severe thunderstorm warning. Then we also have one that's down to the south, includes portions of not our viewing area, but it does include Carroll County. That is a part of our viewing area. So we'll watch those storms as they continue to push through. So my producer is messaging me, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything important. Okay, he's talking about the audio. He said you can hear fine. So I hopefully, Ben, I hope the audio improves for you, but I'm not sure if it's coming from our end. So Vic, the Kesha concert, right now, the worst of the storms are passing through. I didn't know she was in town, but Skyhawk Falls, you've got rain right now. I'm sure the concert's going to be starting soon. Let's put the lightning on because that's always a bigger indicator. So the lightning, significantly worse to the south of Blossom, but there's still some lightning there, so maybe a bit of a delay. But as I mentioned, these storms are an issue for the next hour. Then they get on out of here, and we don't have to worry about them anymore. Massillon will be the same. Yes, unfortunately, your audio sounds muffled with some ringing. Dang. Stacey, I apologize if the audio isn't great. That's so annoying to listen to, but I'm not sure what. We'll have to do some finagling with it. I'm going to stick with it now instead of ending the live. I hope it's not too irritating to listen to. Oh, when will Massillon be clear? Very similar timing, honestly, for everybody. We've got the worst of the storms right now from Akron to about New Philadelphia. Now, Tuscarawas County, the most north and eastern corner, included in that severe thunderstorm warning for wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. But even if you're not in a severe thunderstorm warning like southern Tuscarawas County, you still have a lot of impact. The heavy rain, frequent lightning, and yes, even some gusty winds are still a possibility as well. So these two severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for about the next 45 minutes. Everybody then will be dry and much calmer once we get to about 9, 10 o'clock. Maybe some lingering showers, but in terms of anything super, super intense, strong, severe, that looks to diminish by the time we get to 9 p.m. Deb Hauser, 30 minutes too late. What do you mean? We were on air at 7 p.m., so did a tornado warning at that time, and we've been watching the storms all day, but I know that we were in the newscast during that time. So the majority of the storms were up to the north and west earlier, starting around 4 p.m. We were live on the air during that time, just for newscast time. So I apologize we weren't live on Facebook at that point, but once we got the tornado warning issued, that's when it became, let's get on Facebook after the shows as well. That way we continue to have that fun. Thank you, Stacey. I appreciate you watching. Is Lodi clear now? The sirens went off, Rachel. So, yes, Lodi is looking good. Let's zoom in on in. So, Lodi, you still have a flood advisory. We still have several flood alerts, from flood advisories to flash flood warnings, and this is in effect until 10:15. Now, you notice that there is still a lightning strike near you showing up on our radar around Medina County, but the worst of that lightning, the worst of the storms have already passed Medina County, have already passed Lodi, pulling away from us at this time. Bad audio is better than no coverage at all. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry, Bernice. I understand change is not ideal, but if you haven't seen me before, I'm meteorologist Katie McGraw, working now in the PM shift here. I'm also pregnant, so baby joining me on board as well. And we're tracking all these storms. I'm here for you, and I hope you do appreciate that, regardless of the person that's telling you. And I hope that you enjoy my stuff still too. And that's why we're here, is because the strongest winds right now moving into Canton at this moment. If you're in Stark County, the worst of those winds at this time. I mean, in the lightning, let's get our counter back up. 381, just in this like 3 county-wide spread here. I'm going to turn the lightning off though, just because sometimes it's hard to even see what's going on. And what we're watching here is just that bit of bowing that's happening. It's not the worst bow echo I've ever seen, but there's certainly some strong winds there, up to about 60 miles per hour. One thing I haven't looked at too much, yeah, there's not a ton of hail. So this is something known as the Barron button. It'll just let you know some threats that are being detected, including the potential for rotation. And the pink and the purple color, that shows up when you can get some hail. I haven't seen a ton of hail reports. Majority of the reports I've received have been from wind and also some rain. Some rain reports were wild, over 3 inches being reported in a couple communities in 30 minutes. That's where we had that flash flood warning that was issued. Thunder, lightning, and Akron. Absolutely. You're not included in the severe thunderstorm warning for Akron, nor Greene, nor Barberton, but there's tons of lightning, and you're still seeing some heavy rain. But those strong winds certainly located more to the south of you. And let's check those winds. So we're really far away from the radar site, so sometimes it doesn't look as impressive on the radar when you're far away from it. But this area right here, from North Canton all the way down to about Sioux City, that area where you see that little spike of red, that's where we have the strongest part of the storm at this moment. And while you're not seeing very much activity yet into Carroll County, this storm is going to continue to push right into your neck of the woods. So you've got some time until those storms get there, but they are going to be arriving. I'm going to go check the National Weather Service chat just to see what they're saying. Oh, it looks like there's some type of accident. Maybe that was all the flooding. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm looking at one of our ODOT cameras, I-90 west of Warren, and there's obviously some type of issue. Let me pull it up so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Hold on. This is the camera that I was watching. I think this is all due to the heavy rain. Actually, you know what I'm remembering now? Right when I was about to do the tornado warning, there was a push alert that we got that there was I-90 at Warren Road was closed due to, I think, the heavy rain and water. I mean, it is gridlocked in that area, really, really bad. What you can't, they're not letting anyone pass, I think, because of all of that water. And rainfall amounts, I mean, have been extraordinary. Let's go up. I'm going to put on storm total amounts and just pick a couple cities here. So we'll go, look at these amounts: 1, 3.9, 2.9, 2.3, 3.6. Now these are all radar estimates, but still, that just shows how much rain, and most of that was in like 30 minutes. So this is why we're having now issues on the highways as well, including I-90 near Warren and McKinley Avenue. Okay, let's see. So yeah, they're just watching all the same storms. They don't have anything real different than what we're watching. So actually switching over radar sites to the Pittsburgh radar versus the Cleveland radar, you're able to see those winds a lot better. There we go. Data Lab technology. So yeah, now we're using actually the Pittsburgh radar, and you can see that spike of green. So again, while the tornado threat is non-existent at the moment, even though we did have one earlier, there are still wind speeds of about 60 miles per hour, hence why the warning was issued. Oh, thank you, Jared. Lake County, Candace, you're just seeing rain. Couple of thunder and lightning strikes, but the worst of the storms well to the south of you. That's why we're sitting over Canton, Stark County, because yes, you're getting some rain, but kind of got missed in the Lake County area, the Ashtabula area, where you're getting some rain and storms, but in terms of the real intense stuff, it's kind of like beneficial rain, where you're just getting a few showers, pockets of some moderate rainfall. There's definitely been some lightning, but the real heavy and intense stuff has kind of evaded Lake County area. How's Magnolia looking? Southern Stark, Northern Tuscarora. So you were all included right in that area in this warning. Now I would say, let's put the winds back on. Whoops, I gotta switch back to Pittsburgh. It's so much better. So the worst of the winds, I would say, is north of where you're speaking of in Magnolia. The cutest name ever, but I'm trying to find it on our radar here. I'm not sure if it will pop up, but certainly as these storms, I'm going to put it into motion too. So they have more of an easterly push, truthfully, but they're still pushing down to the south and east. So I would say that where we're going to see some of the next strongest winds, Louisville, Paris, Robertsville, up to about Mineral City, you'll probably be just on the skirts of it. So it'll continue to try to push to the east and then down a slight bit to the south. Now the storms as a whole pushing from the northwest to the southeast, but when you look at the worst, so when I zoom out, right, you're able to see how these are as a whole pushing to the south and east. The strongest winds pushing more easterly. So there is going to be a continuation more so into Carroll County than northern Tuscarawas County. You're still included into northern Tuscarawas County, but I would say that the worst of those winds are going to go like that. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, absolutely. You're still going to get all of that action. It's just more about the strongest winds. In Magnolia, they're talking about again. So in southern Stark and northern Tuscarawas County, I mean, look at all that heavy rain there, plus the frequent lightning that I can't even turn on because it's like 500 lightning strikes. And so we still have this one warning right now for Stark. It's basically about halfway through Stark County at this moment at 8:15. That is expected to be out of there. And then it will continue to push toward northern Carroll County. I would say is going to get the brunt of those stronger winds. And then outside of our viewing area, over into Columbiana. So that's more of the Youngstown viewing area. But probably in the next 30 minutes, the worst of the storms are going to be out of here, which is ideal. Because we still have a ton of lightning, tons of heavy rain, gusty winds as well. And we've received several storm reports, mostly in this area that was hit around 4 p.m. earlier today. That's where you had, if I zoom in and get some of these storm reports, rainfall in Huron, 2.4 inches. Marblehead got 3 inches of rain. And then there were also some real strong winds. So Catawba Island, 45 mile an hour winds, 43 for Port Clinton, Berlin Heights. I know that the Berlin down to the south is pronounced like that. So is this Berlin or is it Berlin? But either way, Heights got 3 inches of rain. Those are the majority of the storm reports we've seen. Brook Park, 2.3 inches of rain. You get the idea. A lot of rain. All right. Haven't gotten too many more questions here. So maybe everyone's getting the answers that they were hoping for with these storms. I'll probably stay on here for about another 10 minutes or so, just watching these storms. I'm not concerned at the moment for anything to become tornadic. This is all looking like straight line winds. And again, the worst of these storms in just the 2 or 3 county area, including all of Stark, northern and eastern portions of Tuscarawas, northern portions of Carroll County, and then Columbiana as well. So Columbiana doesn't really include the Power 5 weather, but you're still so close that you're going to be dealing with those storms. And as I mentioned, as a whole, storms moving like this. The strongest winds, though, more like an easterly push. So I would say that if we track it out here, the storms are moving kind of slow, which is unfortunate. So when they drop buckets of rain at a slow pace, that's when you're dealing with a lot of that flooding. But this gives you an idea here. So Paris is about 8:12 and Delroy at 8:20, Waynesburg at 8:07. If anyone else has any other questions, I'm reading the comments right now. Thank you very much. I just saw your comment. We always are aiming to be as accurate as possible. And truth be told, one of the things if you haven't ever watched my forecast before, something I try to do a lot is own up to when we don't know something. Because truth be told, meteorology isn't a perfect science. That's okay. If it was, kind of like job security to me, right? But we're always going to be pretty honest with you. And today, the storm coverage certainly was higher than we ever thought. Certainly got on a stronger potential than anyone thought across Northeast Ohio. So it's while we were thinking that there would be some storms, to the level of which they got was slightly higher than anything. I think the majority of meteorologists in Northeast Ohio, they might be lying if they said that they knew that this was going to happen until earlier today. Throughout the course of the weekend, it looked pretty hit and miss. This has been pretty widespread. And we still have those 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Just seeing if you have any other questions. Winds have died down in Magnolia. I'm actually on the Stark, Tuscarawas, Carolina. So yeah, Cheney, you're right. Let me actually pull your question, your comment up. you're right where the severe thunderstorms are. You are my target demo right now. Because that's where we have two severe thunderstorm warnings that are basically crossing over each other. As this warning pushes out of Stark County, you're going to get it into northern Carroll County, and then it's out of our viewing area. And for anyone else who lives in Northeast Ohio that's watching this, maybe if you dealt with the storms earlier today when we were right in the middle of our newscast, those have all passed. So Western Ohio, you're seeing much quieter conditions, although from the impacts of the heavy rain, there still is ongoing flood advisories for the next several hours. So all of these green boxes here, Lorain, Cuyahoga, Medina, down into Wayne County, portions of Huron County, northern Ashland, all included in flood advisories, roughly expiring around 9 o'clock or so in that 9 o'clock hour. And then in this maroon box, that's our most serious one. That's our flash flood warning, where we saw reports of over 3 inches of rain in 30 minutes. That is catastrophic. Some of the pictures that I was seeing from the islands, Marblehead, Cedar Point, I mean, the amount of water that fell in such a short period of time, it was really, really not a good situation. And the heaviest rain has been moving from west of Cleveland and then down to the south and east. So we can look at rainfall rates here, or rain amounts, excuse me. Just even a quick glance. Up to the north and east, a nice amount of rain. You get to Cleveland, Strongsville, all the way up to the island, Sandusky. That's where the heaviest rainfall fell, 2-3 inches of rain being detected on our radar. And now that heavy rain is currently actively falling in Stark County. Akron points to the south. So it's right over Kent. You're at the epicenter of our storms right now. Paris, Alliance, Augusta, Carrollton, you're all going to be getting it in the next 20-30 minutes. And then we'll dry things up by about 9 p.m. or so. And the intensity, even if you're still dealing with some rain, the intensity will come way down. Comment off. Hi, Blackie. Thanks for watching. All right. So I think I've gotten through most of the questions. So what I'm going to do here is just a quick little recap. I'll literally continue to watch these storms for you, but in terms of what we're expecting for the rest of tonight into tomorrow, because actually we have a heat advisory as well. So I'm going to turn the script just for a second to focus on what we're going to be seeing, more of a future cast versus a now cast. So we still have those to do with thunderstorm warnings. Both will be over by 8:45. So we've got another 40 minutes or so of these severe thunderstorm warnings. The flood advisories will, every single one from advisories to warnings for all the rain that we saw, everything will expire by 11 p.m. tonight from all that heavy rain. If we look just over to the regular radar, all of the storms now to the east of Cleveland, farther south as well. Some showers to the north, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder and some lightning being detected. I'll throw the lightning back up for just a second. It's so overwhelming when you see it all. But notice how, once again, the worst of the lightning away from the lake, and you have to go pretty far south to get to the worst of that lightning. And if you're inside those orange boxes, Stark, Carroll County, Tuscarawas counties, you need to seek shelter until the storm passes. And we have a ton of alerts on this map right now. One of them is your heat advisory. So that's for tomorrow, where we're going to have heat that just gets, it was already hot and humid today, but it's expected to get even hotter tomorrow. This mouse, I could throw it. Okay. So every single county in Northeast Ohio included in the heat advisory for tomorrow. Here's our storms by 11 p.m. They're all gone. Tomorrow, we're going to leave an isolated threat for showers and thunderstorms coverage. Looks significantly lower than today, especially how it ended up panning out. This is what we're looking at early on Tuesday morning. Stray shower or two. By the time we get to mid-late morning, mixture of sun and clouds, and we're already warming things up really, really fast. So let me get that 7-day forecast up for you. So tomorrow is 93. That's about 10 degrees above what is typical. And with higher dew points, it's going to feel like the upper 90s, low triple digits, hence why we have the heat advisory issued. Then Wednesday, Thursday, cold front pushes through. Looks like the best timing for showers and storms Wednesday, Thursday will be late Wednesday and early on Thursday. And you notice that that ushers in significantly cooler air. And it's not just that the temperatures drop, the humidity drops as well. So a little bit of some summer cleaning in our atmosphere. The weekend looks fantastic at this point, particularly Friday, Saturday. Sunday, there might be a slim shot for a shower or storm. Right now, it's still several days out, so I'm not overly concerned with it. Honestly, today's storms have taken my focus, but there's definitely going to be, as we move throughout the weekend, more dry time, more pleasant conditions. Hi, Maddie. Thanks for watching. We still have almost 1,000 people on this Facebook, on our streams here. So we so appreciate you watching. And we originally went on because of once the tornado warning was issued at around 7 p.m. And if anyone's in that area where the tornado warning was issued, it was Summit, Wayne, I think Medina County was included as well. But the worst of that rotation, if I take it back, was right around Hermanville. So if you have any friends or family that live near Hermanville, I mean, it was right on top. Let me flip it over to. So right in Wayne County, and that was when we had the tornado warning issued. What state route is that? State Route 3. So that's where the worst of the rotation was. If you live right in this area, south of Seville, north of Smithville, if you have any damage, you saw anything, you heard anything, please let me know, especially now that the worst of the storms have passed. You're seeing just a few light showers in Wayne County, so the worst is certainly passed. So yeah, please let us know if you do have any of the severe storms. It's moved out of Cleveland, right? So let's get a look. So for the most part, however, see those showers out there? They're out over the lake. Let's put it into motion here. I definitely think, yeah. Well, they're trying to break apart. Nothing severe, but these showers absolutely have a possibility of trying to make it into downtown Cleveland. It's falling apart though. You see how the coverage 30 minutes ago was much higher and having a hard time actually making it to the lake. I believe that is real rain. Let me check on sometimes it can be bugs and stuff. I think it'd be way too early for us to see anything like that. So I believe that these showers are just fading away. Long story short, if you see anything in Cleveland, it's going to be over in probably the next half hour, and nothing severe. It's just looking like plain old rain. I can check things real quick. It's just falling apart. So true showers here, but it's much lighter. And in terms of lightning, let's see. No lightning strikes at this moment near Cleveland. Different story farther to the south. Look at all those lightning strikes. But it is weakening. Look at that 30-minute loop of this lightning strike. You have 500 down to about 253. So as they continue to push to the east into southeastern Ohio, well, more like eastern Ohio, I should say, it's like central eastern, the weakening storm. So you still have the potential for some strong winds, but now it looks like the storm in Stark County, they actually canceled both. They agree. The National Weather Service completely agrees as well that these storms have weakened enough that even though this original warning for Carroll County was until 8:45, so another 30 minutes, the winds have come down. The damage is not expected. With that said, still packing a punch, tons of lightning, tons of heavy rain. These are going to be out of here within the next 30 minutes to an hour. After that, just a few light showers. So the worst has passed. We can all kind of take a sigh of relief. If you live in this area where you're still dealing with lightning and thunder, even though it's not severe, still want to heed the fact that when thunder roars, get indoors, let these storms pass. Again, they should be out of here by about 9 o'clock, and then you can go on about your evening and enjoy the rest of the day. Are certain areas prone to heavy rains like snowfall? That's a great question, Jared. There's certainly areas that handle rainfall they don't handle heavy rain as well. In terms of our viewing area, though, as a whole, during the summer months, it's kind of sporadic, it's random. It depends on the system. It depends on where the low is, things like that. When it comes to lake effect, you can get lake effect showers, but that all has to do with temperature. So the temperature of the water of the lake, the temperature of the air, how strong wind speeds are. That's why we have the snowbelt area. So there's certainly times of the year. So for example, the last month, we have had the heavier rainfall, more rainfall in western portions of Ohio, but that's just based on timing of storms. So that's a great question, and it does make me actually want to go and look and see if we have a rain belt of any kind. Unfortunately, I do think that it would likely end up, if we were to see anything, it would more than likely still be in the snowbelt area, just because it's usually all about the winds, all about the temperatures. But that was a really good question. Jared, he's mentioning that you've barely had any because of the heat and rain, and that's what here, let me pull up this one graphic while I'm thinking about it. So today's rain, actually the last few days, we've gotten some decent rainfall, but you see here that from Elyria over to Ashtabula, Ashtabula's improved though, actually, Jared. Last week, that rainfall deficiency for the last 30 days was over 3 inches of rain. Now it's at 2. So still, you're definitely in need of rain. I'm in Lake County. My yard, my husband was pushing the lawnmower last weekend and it was like all dust. So there's certainly areas, mostly eastern portions of the Power 5 viewing area, that have not seen as much rain, that are in that deficiency. So getting rain like today, especially what you got in Ashtabula, where it's kind of just a nice uniform amount of rain, that's ideal. When you get that heavy rain, while the numbers might match up, getting 3 inches of rain in a half hour is not what we want either. It's that nice middle ground where you get a quarter to a half an inch of rain in a day, not in 10 minutes or something. All right, so since there's no more severe thunderstorm warnings, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video and this live stream. But I do so appreciate all 964 of you that are watching right now. Again, if you're unfamiliar with me, I'm meteorologist Katie McGraw. I work at News 5 in downtown Cleveland. We always want to be there for all of our folks, not just when it's in Cleveland. So I hope that we were able to do that as these storms move through Summit, Stark, down into Carroll County. It's no longer severe, but still has a ton of lightning. And look at that, the lightning strikes continue to go down. So these storms are weakening minute by minute, which is great to see that as they continue to move out of our viewing area, the severe threat, the intensity of these storms is coming way down. Everybody looks dry after 9 p.m., maybe a stray shower or two. Let's say 10 p.m. just to be safe. Everybody's dry, but the severe storms, and by 9 p.m., they look to be over. Showers then fading after that. Tomorrow, heat advisory in effect, so make sure you're staying cool because we can have heat index values tomorrow, upper 90s, low triple digits. Then we finally cool things down, cool things down by the middle of the week. By this weekend, looks fantastic. 70s, 80s. I'm a 70s girl. I love temperatures when they're 70s. So this weekend looks fantastic. All right, thank you all so much. And you're so welcome, Cheney. I'm happy that you guys all joined us. Have a great night and stay safe.